Most people working in the UK now have a defined contribution pension. This is where you build up a pot of pension money that you'll use to pay you a retirement income. The size of your pension pot is based on how much you and or your employer contribute and how much it grows by. This type of pension is also known as a money purchase pension or personal pension. But what happens if there's still money left in them when you die? Well, there are a number of options as to how it can be paid out. The tax position depends on how old you are when you die. And as you might have guessed with pensions, it can be complicated. If you're currently alive, and I'm assuming you are, then there's 100% certainty that you're going to die. And when you do, which you definitely will by the way, you need to know what's going to happen to your unspent pensions and who's going to benefit. In this 444, I'm going to outline the 4 areas you need to know about to make sure your pension goes exactly where you want it to when you die. And they are why pension funds are usually outside your estate for inheritance tax purposes, how you can nominate your beneficiaries to inherit your money purchase pensions when you die. I'm going to outline some key considerations when nominating your loved ones to inherit your pensions with the least amount of hassle after you've gone, and I'll explain the tax treatment of inherited pensions. If you haven't already watched it, you might like this 444 on the 4 essential documents you must have in place to protect your family if anything happens to you. Now, if you've got a defined benefit scheme, also known as a final salary pension, then there may be fewer options available to your loved ones for inheriting your pension, but you should make sure you've got your nomination forms in place. Hey there, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name's Huw and I'm a retirement specialist and money coach at Proposito Financial Planning, based in the heart of the Cotswolds. And on this channel, we explore the strategy, tools and money habits that help you make the most of your life force. That's your time, your energy and your ability to live a life with more meaning and more happiness. Now don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell so you don't miss out on our next videos. Right, let's get into this 444. What happens to your money purchase pension if you die, and what's the inheritance tax position if you do? It's important to note that any assets left when you die, such as unspent tax-free cash or retirement income that was originally part of your pension pot, will be part of your estate for inheritance tax purposes. Most people working in the UK now have a defined contribution pension. This is where you build up a pot of pension money that you'll use to pay you a retirement income. The size of your pension pot is based on how much you and or your employer contribute and how much it grows by. This type of pension is also known as a money purchase pension or personal pension. But what happens if there's still money left in them when you die? Well, there are a number of options as to how it can be paid out. The tax position depends on how old you are when you die. And as you might have guessed with pensions, it can be complicated. Most of the time are outside your estate for inheritance tax, but, and it is a big but, for this to apply, the administrator of your pension would need to have complete discretion over who your pension would be paid to when you die. This means that the trustees of your pension have the right to choose who ultimately benefits from your pension if you die. As a result of you not owning your pension, nor having a binding say as to who inherits your pension when you die, your pension does not form part of your estate for inheritance tax purposes, and that's good news. But how can you give the pension trustees guidance as to who you want to benefit? The answer is by nominating your beneficiaries. You can nominate anyone to receive your money purchase pension fund when you die by completing an expression of wish form, also known as a death benefit nomination form. This tells the scheme administrator who you would like to receive your pension when you die. They are not bound to follow your wishes, though they generally will. It's important to tell them who you want to benefit and update this if your personal circumstances change. In our work as retirement specialists, we've come across a few issues around the use of expression of wish forms for the nomination of pension beneficiaries for death benefits. Top tips for the nomination of death benefits for your beneficiaries. Use the provider's own expression of wish form. It's the one that most closely matches the scheme rules and will have the most appropriate wording for the scheme administrators to demonstrate their adherence to the complex rules around inheriting pensions. Review it regularly. People's circumstances change over time, often significantly. Keeping the expression of wish form updated is a sensible thing to do. An example of this is where a divorced partner is still a nominated beneficiary or following a second wedding or civil ceremony upon their death, the children may inherit a pension and not their spouse, or vice versa. Keep it simple. It's not uncommon for expression of wish forms to try and cater for many different scenarios. This just makes things complicated. It's much better to have a simple scenario and update it regularly. Make sure the expression of wish form enables a regular pension income to be taken as well as a lump sum. A lump sum from a pension may have estate planning implications that lead to inheritance tax on a beneficiary's estate. And the fifth is make sure the expression of wish form enables the appointment of alternative nominees. Should the nominee predecease the member or not wish to take up all or part of their benefit, then the alternative nominees can benefit. For example, nominating your partner or your children if your partner predeceases you. This video doesn't apply to annuities. With annuities, the death benefit nominations are set up at outset. For annuities set up on a joint life basis, your beneficiary will continue to receive the selected proportion of your income for the rest of their life. If you set up the annuity on a single life basis, there will be no death benefits payable when you die. If you added a guaranteed period when the annuity was purchased, income will continue until the end of the guaranteed period. The key determinant of the tax treatment of inherited pensions is the member's age when they die, and the key age is 75. So what happens if you die before the age of 75? Well, if you die before you're 75, withdrawals from an inherited pension are free of tax, as long as the benefits are paid within 2 years of the earliest of the scheme administrators finding out about your death or the date they could reasonably have it been expected to know about your death. It's important to note that any pension that has been accessed will be tested against your unused lifetime allowance on death. The lifetime allowance is the limit placed on the size of a pension that can still enjoy full tax benefits, currently £1,073,000, and is fixed until April 2026. Inherited beneficiary pensions do not count towards the beneficiary's lifetime allowance. So what happens if you die after 75? Well, death after 75 will tax the beneficiary withdrawals at their marginal rate of income tax in the tax year of withdrawal. There are no lifetime allowance tests carried out if you die after 75. Now, how your beneficiaries can withdraw money from an inherited pension will depend on the pension provider and the range of pensions they are able to offer. Not all providers offer all the options. However, it should be possible to transfer an inherited pension to a pension provider that offers access to suitable alternatives. It's important for your beneficiaries to seek professional financial advice here, as pensions can be quite complex and it can be difficult, if not impossible, to unwind pension arrangements once they are set up. The final point on inheriting pensions is that if a beneficiary takes an inherited pension as a lump sum, it moves from outside their estate for inheritance tax in a pension to being inside their estate for inheritance tax in a bank account. If you've enjoyed this 444, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell so you don't miss out on our next video. You can see our previous 444 here that was all about how you should think of yourself as a financial bucket, and here's also a link to our behaviour gap playlist. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.